Hello and welcome back to Coolest Gamers Let's Play, Assassin's Creed Origins Part 46. The topic of discussion today is, did Louis C.K. do something wrong? I think the answer is yes. I think that when the motherfucker comes forward saying, I am guilty of these things, and he's admitting to offenses which are so comparably minor when, you know, matched up against the acts of Weinstein and Spacey, and Cosby, of course, that I don't think his admission was coerced or pressured. I'm getting into this rather large debate with some of my YouTube compatriots who want to kind of shoehorn this issue into the question of unfair molestation accusations. Basically, that these women came forward in order to gain exposure and perhaps, you know, financial damages against Louis for something that they consented to at the time. And I think people are not looking at the complexity of this issue with much weight. Don't expect me to commentate on the game right now because I'm still looking for that fucking puzzle solution, which I end up not finding. But, you know, let's stick around. Let's have the fireside chat about the dangers of asking women if you can jerk it off in front of them. First of all, what he did was highly inappropriate. I mean, he was on set, essentially, with female co-stars, asking them to entertain a compulsion, a sexual compulsion of his, that even at the time, he said, wow, I really know this is fucked up. And for those of those co-stars who did consent and then stuck around, you know, I think those are the ones that are really being targeted in this situation, who are being argued against, because the argument is that, you know, they gave their consent and that's that. But I think that when you're working, and this is something that Louis himself said, I'm not operating on my own insights of show business, but Louis himself said that it was an abuse of power because when you're working with a comedian as respected as him, a comedian who was an idol to a lot of these co-stars of his, and you're asked by your idol if they can do something that's bizarre and will make you uncomfortable, maybe at the moment you feel pressured professionally to say yes and to just endure it. Whoa. And I don't think it's as cut and dry as once you've said yes, that's the end of it. Like you're done. Like you can never find a grievance or offense to what happened from this moment onwards just because you said yes. And I think it's easy to conflate an issue like this with certain issues where maybe, you know, a girl you're with is intoxicated or, you know, a number of other things that could impede her judgment, and she agrees to consensual sex with you or sexual activities. You have these sexual activities and later she says, oh, he molested me. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's very unfair to the accused in that situation, whether it be male or female. But in a situation like this, I think that there are more complex factors at play, especially given the fact that what they were consenting to was not intercourse, was not something that could later be construed as direct molestation. I think it's much more complex than that. And a lot of people, you know, want to say that Louis was merely coming forward because he wanted to protect himself and he felt like he had to accede to the accusations because of the, you know, quote-unquote witch hunt that's going on, as one commenter put it. But I really don't think that that's the case. I really don't think that if Louis felt that he was innocent of something, that he had not taken advantage of those women, that he would have come forward, and upon being accused, he would have defended himself. I mean, look at Bill Cosby. He has been accused of so many, essentially like date rape situations, and he denies them. I mean, and he almost certainly is guilty of it. So, do you think that someone who is innocent of some kind of, like, sexual impropriety or misconduct would not defend themselves in that situation, especially when it's such a gray area? I mean, I think that Louis would be more defensible. He would be easier to sympathize with had he denied these accusations or simply not acknowledged them in the first place. Because in that case, there's an element of doubt. But once he's come forward and admitted to being guilty of sexual misconduct, as far as I'm concerned, that's the proof I need. Like, yeah, I know there have been cases in the past where people have pled guilty to offenses that they weren't guilty of, but we're not dealing with mentally unstable individual here. We're dealing with, I think, a very cogent and very mature comedian who has regularly spoke out in favor of female rights over the past. So, to me, it just does not strike me as that kind of suspicious situation, or that he's being coerced or pressured into doing what he's doing. Do I still love the guy? Do I still want him to move on with his career? Absolutely. But I don't think that absolves him of guilt. And I don't think that we should politicize this issue as a social justice warrior agenda to strip males of all their rights, because I think that's what a lot of people are painting it as. Anyway, I'll move on. End rant. Hopefully we get the fuck out of here pretty soon, because this is tiresome. You know, this is my maiden voyage, guys. I'm just gonna subject you to this gig. You know, because I'm not too enthused about this game at the moment, so, you know, given the fact that it's not a very appealing Let's Play, just on paper in the first place, I might as well just stick it out. You know, like, cut my teeth on some long-form commentary. So yeah, that sucks for you, but if you're watching this, I mean, you're probably in need of some mental health rehabilitation of some kind. Or you're just a really nice guy. I didn't mean that. You know, sometimes I'm gonna do a little food review. Kill some time. Sometimes Marashan does a really good job with shrimp. I think that the bowls with the little salad shrimp in them and the chili sauce make for an exceptional meal. But the instant lunches, shrimp flavored, I don't know if they got a different stock of shrimp for that, but the shrimp taste and smell, like, the best I could say is it tastes and smells like bread, like stale bread. The worst I could say is that it tastes and smells like cardboard. This is like the most ridiculous quote-unquote shrimp flavor I've ever experienced in my life. It's absolutely disgusting. No amount of chili sauce or soy sauce or anything even fixes this. I mean, it's garbage. But it's so inexpensive that, you know, sometimes when you're in college you just subject yourself to like pseudo poverty conditions just to get by, you know. So what would I review Marashan Instant Lunch Shrimp flavor? A resounding 0 out of 5. Does that mean you shouldn't eat it? I don't know. The jury's still out. I'm eating it. Have I mentioned that I absolutely despise the level sectioning in this game? Because I do, I really do. Maybe it would be more forgivable in my eyes if there was a sense of, I don't know, like hierarchical structuring to the areas. Like, oh, this area has tougher enemies because it's like where the Pharaoh's advanced army garrisons itself, or some shit like that. Or this is where they have the Great Bank of Egypt, or something. Like high priority targets that need a lot better protection. But no, it's just a random dispersion of different level checks all over the map. I mean, the Katara Depression has some high-level enemies. And why? I mean, why are the highest-level bandits all hail from the Katara Depression, where there's literally nothing to even pillage? There's, like, and most people don't even ride through there. So, like, why would these skilled highwaymen spend any of their time there? It makes no sense. And so the level checking does not add to a sense of immersion, and so therefore to me it's just pointless. Man, I really need to pick up and move on from this. Sometimes it feels like what I'm doing here is not art, because I talk to myself all the time anyway. Like, literally, if I wasn't shooting these and recording these voice tracks, I would just be doing this to myself. So it's kind of a bizarre exercise, but I guess the art part's where I have the temerity to share my stupidest innermost thoughts that normally only my walls are privy to. Oh man, this is a really nice theme. You see that mountain over there? It's out of bounds. So this is kind of nice. When dudes see you swimming around and shit, they sort of cut you a break. They're like, oh man, you shouldn't have to swim. They're like alligators and shit. Come on, get on board. Come on. Simpler times, you know. You just don't hitch felucas nowadays. He's all patiently stopped at the shoreline right now while I go into some kind of weird bird trance. He's just gonna be chilling there when we get back. Like, hey man, are you done looking through your bird's eyes? And you got any peyote you could share with me? I'll give you a free ride anywhere you want. Nice guys. When I occasionally get a bite of shrimp in these soups, man, I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, if you look at the ingredients for Marushan Instant Lunch, shrimp flavored TM, all rights reserved. Oh wait, there's no ingredients on this cup. They probably don't want to remind you. You know what happens when you eat ramen 3 times a day? You don't want to know what your shit turns out like. It's pretty fucking gross. Hey, Bayet? No, my name's Bayek. Get it right. Chill out, dude. I got like 1,000,000 drachmas in the bank. I'll pay you back for your boat. In fact, why don't you just go swim to someone else's boat and ask them to use it? They'll let you. Everyone does. I'm trying to find my treasure! Stay there. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go climb that mast over there. Yeah, so I got this David Stockwell II commenting, saying that consent is more gray than just a black and white situation, obviously. And that the ladies didn't expressly say no, but he shouldn't have jacked off into his stomach in front of them. It was bad on him to have that impulse. He's saying it's not predatory, it's not assault. And the time he asked a coworker if she'd like to watch him wasn't harassment. But ultimately, it's all sexual misconduct. That, I should have put it more concisely, because that's what I really believe is the issue. That's why he does not compare to Spacey or Weinstein or Cosby. He did not assault anyone, but he acted very badly. I don't think that we should be defending his weird behavior just because someone consented to it. Especially because they didn't feel comfortable about it later. And then you have guys like Frank Lay. We no longer need to accuse men of crimes. All it has to be is a weird, almost gray area, and bam! Your shows are canceled, movies won't get released anymore. Oh, did you want to have sex? Sorry, fucko. Shouldn't have been born a man. Mark these words. There will be a point when a woman can say, we had consensual sex, and that will be enough to get him in jail. What the fuck are you you're trying to make the argument that if a woman says, we had legal sex, the man will be thrown in jail as if the sex was illegal? That doesn't make sense, dude. This is the problem, man. They're coming to the defense of an argument that doesn't even concern this issue. I mean, in my mind, it's probably a bit of an alt-right agenda that, to some degree, wants things to go back to the way that they were, where men have a little bit more carte blanche. And that's a paranoid assessment. I mean, I'm not sure if it's that extreme, but I just don't see to whom these arguments apply. Like, if you're innocent of sexual misconduct or rape or assault, molestation, whatever, then, you know, present your case, and if you're charged, if you're convicted anyway, then at that point, yeah, you have an issue. But it seems like we have this, I don't know, blind brush that's just put over everything, where it's like, if the girl assents to it and then later doesn't feel comfortable about what she did, she's just trying to take advantage of the man or something. Yes, that man might be innocent in that case. I might support the fact that the woman she made a mistake, a personal mistake, and that other people shouldn't be held accountable for that. But I mean, there are plenty of cases where that kind of consent does become an issue. When a girl is extremely drunk and you take her, I guess, compliant attitude to be consent, I think that's a problem. I mean, maybe she doesn't even know what's going on in the moment that she is kind of being agreeable and compliant. Maybe later she asks herself, what happened last night? You know, maybe in that case, you should have been a little more considerate. It's not that you need it written out. I think that's a bit of an extreme way to put it. I just think that, I don't know, I personally think you shouldn't take advantage of women who are too drunk to remember anything. I mean, why would you want that anyway? It's not exactly self-esteem boosting. This is the point at which I can be accused of being a social justice warrior, I guess, but you know, some parts of it's got to be progressively true. Just got to be. So you know what? Like,